Hi everybody. Welcome to the Business Shower podcast. I am your host, Kelly Edwards, and today we are talking with Porsha Brown and Trevor from Red Styles Media. How are you doing today, Porsha?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here and talk with you guys.
Okay. All right. So tell our listeners who you are and what your business does.
Okay, so Red Site Media, we like to consider it a full service media production company. We specialize, in visuals and not limited to commercials, music videos, short films, documentaries, food videos, Facebook ads, anything like that. We have a bunch, a bigger network so that we're able to also help clients with their graphic needs, video editing, photography, anything along those lines. We probably have someone within our network that can help you with it.
Okay, so it's almost like a network of photographers and anything that has to do with media. Hey, Kai.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So Porsha was just telling me about the business and what you guys do. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Porsha. Say it again.
Oh no. Well, basically, what I was saying was that I wouldn't so much consider it a network of photographers and videographers. It's me and Cal really run the production side of it. But if there's a part, so like for example, like let's say you're doing a music video. We just had this recently with a client. We shot a music video for the client, and they needed a logo for their brand. So we do have a network of other contracted creatives that help kind of add to our visual productions, whatever that may be. Graphics, visual effects, special effects, makeup artists, hairstylists, anything you might need to put together a visual production. We had the visual production part of it, but all the supplemental areas, we've kind of created a network of people that can help fulfill, those needs for your production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a one-stop shop, basically, like full service production company. So you really just come to us with the ideas that you have for your video or photo project, and then we pretty much handle the rest. So if anything outside of our particular skill set was needed, we do have people that we work with on a regular basis who fulfill those needs for us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. So tell us how you guys got started. Like, how'd you guys meet, and your story behind why you got started in this business?
So very briefly, I met Porsha when I was 15. I had just moved to Jersey from New York. She was one of my first friends in Jersey, and she's actually still my friend. So that's a miracle.
Yeah, he's stuck now. Yeah.
So that's how, we met on debate team actually. And somehow we lasted, through college and stuff like that. And she went off to the military. And when she came back, she went to school for film. And somehow I found myself doing photography, very, very much separate ventures. Like we weren't even really talking about it much with each other. But once she started practicing kind of like after college, she was like, I want you to help me. I like your photography and I think you would be good at film. You should help me DP or be my director of photography. And I was like, sure. What's the director of photography? Because I had no idea. And then, she convinced me to make my first video, which was disastrous, I might add. But if I wouldn't have made that video, I wouldn't be as good as I am today. So, we kind of just were friends that had similar interests and, ended up starting a business together. Yeah.
Now, let me add this part, though. We were also theater kids. Okay. I'm a weird mashup. They like to make fun of me sometimes because I was like the nerdy jock. Because I don't know if you remember, I also played basketball. I played volleyball. I ran cross country. But I would be showing up to debate team or band practice in my basketball jersey, the same after,
Yeah.
So, it was like, I knew he was really doing his thing with photography. Like, he's always really been a bomb photographer. And I knew what our history was from theater, like just natural creatives.
Yeah.
So like he said, I kind of convinced him to kind of swing over to the video side and start getting, start getting into that. So, and we've just been rocking since.
That's amazing. So, first of all, I didn't know you went to Orange High too. See, you know what? With me in high school, it was a lot of stuff I didn't do and I just didn't want to do. I didn't start doing stuff until I got to college, but you graduated 2003, right?
06.
06,
He
okay.
was 06, I was 05.
Okay, and I was 04. So, yeah. Wow, this is amazing. Look at all this professional stuff coming out of Orange, New Jersey.
Exactly.
Like, good. Okay, so let's move forward with the interview. So my next question, and I'm gonna have to ask you guys this separately. So what 3 people influenced you to become who you are today? I don't know who wants to go first.
I'm gonna let Porsha go first.
You gonna let me? Okay, gonna throw me on the bus. Okay. What 3 people influenced me to become who I am today? Mm-hmm. One of those people I would definitely have to say is my sister.
Okay.
Because my sister has always kind of pursued entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Pretty much as long, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Pretty much as long as I can remember. I mean, my sister bought her first house like in her early 20s. Mm-hmm. And it was motivating, coming from where we come from. I grew up in apartment buildings my whole life. Owning a house seemed so far-fetched, So she's definitely one big person. Of course, my mom, I think my mom really helped instill the work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really a hard charger. I kind of don't have an off switch. Mm-hmm. And that is my mom. But my mom's more of a 9-to-5 girl. She know how to get it 9 to 5. My sister she'll have a million and one businesses and they'll all be thriving, so those 2. The third person, man, that's tough. Like that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to my third person. I gotta think on that a little bit. Yeah, I gotta think on that one a little. That's a tough one.
I'm gonna switch over to Kyle.
What you got?
So I would have to say probably my parents for different reasons. My mom has just always kind of just been super encouraging, I guess, and just like super open-minded. So for me, I feel like the way that she is has conditioned me to be able to try new things maybe more easily or with less reservations than maybe other people. My dad has probably owned his own business since I've never known him to work for somebody else. I'll put it to you that way. So I think that, in part that my parents owning their own business for as long as I can remember also gave me a little bit more, insight into the fact that I could have my own business. Mm-hmm. So definitely my dad, third person.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. Can I just, this is not necessarily my third person, but I just want to piggyback off of what Kyle said, that his dad and, his parents actually kind of really inspired me too a little bit. I wouldn't say they shaped who I am today, mm-hmm. but from the time I met Kyle, they've always had their own store, their own, something. Yeah. And, in the Black community, that just wasn't something I was used to seeing. No. I tell Kyle this all the time to this day. You're talking 20 plus years of friendship, and I still tell him this. I've always had I used to ride my bike to his dad's store just to walk around it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I had never seen that, especially in Orange. He owned stores in Orange.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I had never seen that. But with that being said, if I had to name, I wouldn't say it's a third person, but I think Orange is really a big catalyst into who I am. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say it was this old, terrible, bad play, because that's in my heart. I love Orange. But you see a lot of stuff, you go through a lot of stuff, a lot of ups and downs and stuff. But I think that alone helped kind of shape me into things that I either didn't ever want to see again or make better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it kind of helped give me that thriving personality, I would say, like kind of being from Orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you figure out your
I didn't. I was just gonna. Oh, unfortunately.
No, it's good. It's good. All right. So, what do you guys enjoy most about being an entrepreneur, and what's the hardest part?
I'm gonna let you start off with this one, Cal, because you do this full time.
I think the thing that I love most about it is just kind of being. There's something that is both spiritually and then later on financially. I don't know, gratifying about working for yourself, because not only are you making money, but you're also doing something that you love to do. So although it still feels like work, it just doesn't feel as like draining or, I don't know, purposeless as, some 9 to 5 where you're going to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
I think the part about it is just getting over that hump. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain amount of, I don't want to say unpaid, but let's say for a certain amount of time, you're going to be putting in a lot more than you're getting out, and it has to be consistent. And basically just getting that ball rolling, because once the faucet opens, it opens. But I think the hardest part is just, staying consistent and doing what you need to do to compete with those bigger and more established production companies.
Right.
Okay.
No, I definitely agree with Cal on that. As far as like the best thing about being an entrepreneur, just that satisfaction of like getting it from here, in your head to on video or something like that for a client or for yourself. The biggest struggle is I always say, like, building that audience and that support system. You get a lot of people that only want to support the success. They don't want to support the struggle. And that is probably the most like, it gives me almost like anxiety. That is the most aggravating part of it all, because people only want to support you on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to tie themselves, I got to call it like it is, to be able to tie themselves to you once the success happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Just the people that we know that were almost, I don't want to say in all cases, but almost specifically, we're talking about like the people from Orange High, the people from Temple, the people from Rutgers, the people from your old jobs that are still on Facebook. These are probably the people that you expect to support you maybe first, but in all actuality, your strongest support from strangers.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, once you mass 300,000 strangers, that's when everybody from Orange High creeps back like, oh, that's P Brown 06, and this. Yes, it is. Yes. That when I was putting stuff out before.
They wasn't what you shooting in the gym, huh, Kyle?
Right.
No, but it's true though. That's
we're
basically
debating in the.
That's basically it. Outside of that, I try to remind myself on why I love what I do and why I started doing it, to kind of keep myself on that straight and narrow and not worry about kind of what's happening over here and trying to pull people in. I feel like that I have to let that happen naturally, and that's pretty much where we're at in our business, honestly.
And you know what? I want to change that narrative where we don't support, businesses and, our people, because that's the whole point of the business shower.
Right.
Is to start supporting us more, because I see that a lot, and I've been through that as well. Like, you ain't want to support me when I was first starting. You wouldn't come to none of my events. You wouldn't come to anything that I was doing, and now you want to talk. Like, so I completely get that, and I want to change that. So, and I don't want to be petty about it anymore, because a lot of people know me for being petty. I know. I don't want to be petty about it anymore. Let's just come together and let's just do this. Like, because we all got one goal. But so next question. What did you guys take from school to help you in starting your own businesses?
I would say for me, it was I think early on, I've always been a busybody. Mm-hmm. Most people who know me, especially from high school, know I was, if I was allowed to be in that club or sport or whatever, I was in it. Okay. I did it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that started early on. And I did take a lot from not just theater, Music, I play violin, saxophone. You know what I'm saying? So just I just always loved being creative, and I've always felt like there just wasn't enough of it coming from an inner city school. You know, it was like the bare minimum of what you get unless you had a teacher or something that was truly, truly dedicated to what they did. And I did have a couple like that. You know, Coach Frazier, you know, I got to give her a shout out. I mean, there's nobody else like her, you know, as far as like instilling work ethic, grind, hustle, you know what I'm saying? I really took that with me. I still praise for it all the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing I took from me. Those couple of teachers or instructors that you had that did more than the minimum, you know, did more than what the curriculum required. You know what I mean? They kind of connected with you on a personal level.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Kal?
Are you saying high school or school in general?
School in general.
I was going to say, funny enough, Porsha talked more about high school, and I actually expected you to talk about Full Sail because Full Sail is so geared towards. So she went to school for digital cinematography, and her school is so designed to, like, while other colleges I feel like prepare you to work for somebody else, I feel like the school she went to prepared you to work for yourself.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was a really good thing because I feel like, I don't want to say that I haven't gained anything, but I feel like the American school system is designed to point you towards working for somebody else. I don't think that there's anything entrepreneurial in spirit about it. So a lot of what I got about it, like I said, came from my parents and other things like that. I think if I would have like followed the school way, I probably would have thought a little bit differently about it.
And maybe that's why I didn't necessarily bring up Full Sail. And don't get me wrong, love Full Sail. Hey, y'all. Because I graduated almost 4 years ago now. And I still talk to my career counselor from Full Sail all the time. Like, she reaches out to me all the time. I think the only reason I didn't bring them up because they're geared towards entrepreneurship, it's more technical and less creative based. You know what I'm saying? Like, I learned a lot about copyrights, trademarks, you know, how to do production forms, how to, you know, those technical aspects of it. And I like that because when I went to Temple, I went to art school, and it was actually the opposite. I felt like I was kind of being forced to take on the instructor's point of view creatively, you know, versus like just letting me kind of find my own lane. So I respect Full Sail for that, but I got more technical from them than anything else. Like Kal said, building a business about it and knowing the technical terms and stuff. I definitely got that from them for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's you guys' biggest pain point right now that you've been experienced with these times of COVID? Like, has it even affected you guys at all?
I mean, greatly, because I mean, you take Cardi B's WAP video. She said that she spent like $75,000 just on like COVID precautions and testing.
Wow.
So, you know, that's what big budget videos are doing to protect people. Obviously, most of the clientele that we're working with are not only is their entire budget not $75,000, they definitely don't have $75,000 for COVID security. So it's just been a matter of being like very creative in terms of how you allocate your money, you know, still trying to make sure people stay safe. And then actually, generally speaking, just getting back into business in the last maybe 5 months, because prior to that, you know, everything was basically done. You know, it literally came to an abrupt halt. And so everything that I did during COVID was mostly digital, and that's just not my realm at all in terms of video, and I'll never do it again. But yeah, that's where we are right now. I think the biggest point was just that for our business, it requires people to be around each other.
Right.
And so we couldn't be around each other. And so for a long time, things came to a complete halt.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing that I found funny with us, so me and Kal in March were actually in Atlanta shooting a video. This was like right in the beginning of everything. Like, it wasn't like we haven't entered the shutdown yet. There's very little information coming out. So I don't think either one of us dug into it too hard. We had a gig, we went to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, we came back and it was like shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point, it literally, like he said, came to a halt. But to get specific, I mean, we were supposed to go to Tanzania to shoot a documentary this year. We had like 6 music videos on the books at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, like 5 or 6 music videos on the books. I mean, the beginning of the year was it. We were booked. We were slammed. Mm-hmm. We were picking up pace. It was feeling good. So that was probably the hardest part. Like everything completely. I don't even know if Tanzania is going to even ever happen again.
If it's going to happen at all now. So.
Right. Yeah. You know, we were so looking forward to that. You know, things like that. So I think the biggest thing was like when you do this, when you're in production, you know, you get your babies, your productions, you know what I'm saying? So to know that some of those might not even come back or be repeated opportunities, but you know, you got to deal with what you got and kind of, you know, forge ahead. So that's where we're at now. And I think we're picking back up momentum. Even as you look on TV, other productions are starting back up, you know, so that was kind of a green light for us to kind of try to make some things happen and make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm praying that does happen for y'all. I'm praying that this whole situation will be over soon. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready for it to be over. Okay, so we know that entrepreneurship can be a tough road. And in those difficult moments, how do you guys stay motivated and keep moving forward?
Vent to each other every day.
Okay. That's a good way.
We talk pretty much every day, and it's actually funny you asked this question because we kind of had this conversation, like 2 days ago, Kyle? Basically, like we need to keep each other accountable. Get it out, vent, get it out, and now let's pick ourselves back up and move forward. That's really the biggest thing. After everything was said and done the other day, that is what we landed on. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to fall down and have your frustrations, but we will not linger in it. And we need to hold each other accountable with that, not dwelling in that, because you have zero productivity when you're in that mindset.
Right. It's literally true. And I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Like you talk about it and then you move on, because the reality is, and I would basically during this conversation, what I was saying is that, you know, thinking about whatever problems that you're going through, like there's somebody else in your field going through the same problems. There's a director who's a single mother. There's whatever problem you got, there's somebody else going through the same exact problem, and somehow they're still managing to put out more content. They're still managing. The reality is, even if you're sad, you still got to put one foot in front of the other. If you're mad, you still got to put one foot in front of the other, and you got to move forward. Because generally speaking, staying there is only going to, perpetuate those feelings. So regardless of the fact that you may not feel like going to the gym or whatever the case is, if you go and you keep going, even though you don't feel like it, eventually you're going to like the way you look or something like that, right? So I feel like it's the same way with your career. You may not want to get up every day and work, do something to increase your strength in that area, but if you do, it's going to pay off, and you'll appreciate it.
Right. So y'all hear that? You just got to keep going no matter what.
Absolutely.
All right. So, what would your parents describe what you guys do for a living? What would they say?
Cal, what would Don say?
At this point, like as of today, he would probably say that my son does videos and photos. My mom would say my son is a fashion film director and photographer.
Okay.
She's expressive and kind of I'll say expressive.
Okay.
What about your mom? Had a little spice on it. She had a little spice on top.
Probably gonna say, my son, you ain't see him on TV the other day.
He was literally on BET. I'm telling you, I gotta find it.
Yeah, see, and the fact that she was on BET, your mom probably told everybody that she was on BET. Listen, they are our best cheerleaders, so we gotta love them.
Yeah, however they give it to you, you just take it, huh?
Exactly. So, Porsha, what about you?
My mom old school. That actually is quite a funny question. Trying to imagine her trying to describe to somebody else. It'll probably come out something like she be shooting the videos and stuff. It'll probably come out something like that. My mom's best way to describe it is to probably try to describe one of my most recent films or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because she definitely, I don't think, would use like any technical term. She is very old school.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, what is your biggest failure, and what did in business, and what did you guys learn from it?
That's a good question. Biggest failure.
I don't know. I don't know if this is necessarily my biggest failure, but it was definitely a sore spot for me. But basically, going back to me doing digital work, I took a project for video that was pretty much, I would say that 95% of it, because I did have to film and record some of it, was stuff that had to be created on the computer, which I'm not well versed in. I'm not really good at it. And the person that asked me to do it, he's a friend of mine, but he's also a business colleague. And I really said yes because he's gotten me work before. And I felt like, if he was asking me this, then he must think I'm capable of it. And, it must be. But the bottom line of what I'm saying is I think my biggest failure was that I really messed up in terms of just the general, I shouldn't have been doing the video at all, and I should have just said no. And I guess my my lesson from that is just kind of like, if you feel in your heart that, I don't want to say that you're not capable of something, because you should try, but you got to know your limits, and you got to know when to say no, because the goal was for me to increase the strength of our relationship. And I honestly think that it would have been the same or even better if I had actually said no to doing the video, because it wasn't my forte and because I didn't know everything that it entailed, versus saying yes. And it just didn't come out the way that I wanted. And it took a lot longer for it to also not be, I guess, what was wanted. So that was my thing. Like, do what you like doing all the time. I don't want to say don't cut any corners. You are going to have to do some things that you don't like. But that was probably my biggest failure this year. I was like, you know what, this actually would have been better if I would have just said no. And so just don't be afraid to say no, I guess, is my lesson, because it can cause one of your biggest failures.
Okay. I gotta agree with that one. Like, I feel like I have not a ton, but a couple similar situations, especially when you're starting off. You feel very obligated. You know what I'm saying? You feel very, very obligated because you're trying to build an audience. You're trying to build, that support system. So, when you're dealing with friends and family, like just coming off what Kaylin said, I think just knowing that it is okay to say no, or to assert yourself and what your value is. And I think that's one of my biggest, I don't want to call it a failure, but I guess you can't say, or something that I've learned from is being too lenient with people that I know when it comes to my business. Mm-hmm. That's something we've both completely done a 180 on that, but I think I agree with Cal. We've both learned from similar situations, and just thinking that it's some type of asset to us to try to bend what we know we typically wouldn't do because we know that person. Yeah. Something like that. So I've definitely learned my lesson with that for sure.
Okay. Or even because we want the business. Sometimes we don't know the person, but we think we want or need the business. Right. There's a bunch of reasons why you might do it, but I don't think any of the reasons end up being like worth it.
Right. So, yeah, I agree.
So would you guys look at that as the greatest fear, wanting to please like people that are closest to you, and then it not working out and ends up having a negative effect on your business?
I would say in the beginning, it was for me in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Cal? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
For me, I don't think that would be my biggest fear. I think it's something that I like a lot. Like I wish that, I wish that it was, but it's definitely not my biggest fear. I think my biggest fear is just not being as big or successful as I would like to be. Would be my only fear per se. But I think I've definitely gotten over, you know, like needing or looking for like immediate attention or concern for my business from people that know me per se.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I get that.
Okay. All right. So what would you guys give someone wanting to pursue a similar career to yours? Like, what advice would you give them?
I think I would give them the same advice I would give anybody, to just go, you know, as hard as you possibly can at it, because you can't really judge the results of any situation that you're in by, you know, half doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because you won't really know how far you can get. And also just to remember that a career decision doesn't necessarily mean, like, let's say you decide to be a videographer and then you find yourself like directing, like, just basically to move forward, but, you know, not necessarily think that just because they said they were going to be a director doesn't mean that they can't choose some other, you know, niche within that network. You just won't really know what you're going to like to actually do until you start doing it. So choose something to do it vigorously, and then while you're in that zone, figure out what the best part of it is for you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's some good advice.
Yeah.
Okay. So what resources helped you guys along the way? Are there any resources that helped you along the way?
Full Sail. I mean, we always joke that Cal kind of got like a free Full Sail diploma, because if I learned it, he learned it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally would give them like a full breakdown, what I did that day, or like what topics we going over, projects we working on. So I feel like Cal definitely had an advantage, and I wish somebody would have did that to me so I could have saved my GI Bill.
I definitely did get a lot of information from her. I don't feel as well versed. Like, you know, I think I was thankful that she was in it, because anytime I had a question or something like that, I feel like she was able to answer from a more like business side of things. Like, I was more run and gun and guerrilla style before she got out of college and had like more structured knowledge and information on things. But if I'm being honest, I kind of had to create resources out of people. I don't really feel like there are any resources that I could be like, oh, if you're a videographer, you know, call up this place, they'll help you out. I don't know of any place like that. Like, you literally have to create resources. You have to network, and you have to ask. Like, I don't know of any place like that. Because Full Sail helps Porsha, but she paid Full Sail $40,000. So that's why they're helping her. So, I mean, there are places that'll help you if you pay them. But in terms of resources, you're going to have to create those for sure.
Yeah, I find that in this business, in the artistic field, on any level, even in music, people want to hold on to their trade secrets, because once a person feels like they've figured out the key to success in that field, the average person does not want to release it, because this is how I take it, at least, they view you as competition. Now, if I know doing this particular thing automatically make me successful, they like, I don't want to tell you, because then you're going to be just successful as me. And that's a weird concept for me, but to each his own. So I agree with Cal in that. You will find those people in those gyms that are willing to. And I feel like that is what our network is right now. Okay. It's been a slow grind to get in a network that we trust, we can work with, we work with each other, we share with each other. That is hard to find in this industry. It is, but it exists on some level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna just say it like this, y'all. I'm seeing like a niche for you guys to create something that is like, that could be big and that can help a lot of people. But that's only if y'all want to do that. But yeah.
Look at that. No taking.
I'm just putting that out there, because
that down. I smell an e-course coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a good point. Thank you for that.
Right. You're welcome. All right. So what is something unique that no one knows about you or your business? So before y'all answer, a lot of people don't know that me and Porsha is related, and we didn't know for 4 years of high school. So That's just something I wanted to put out there real quick, but I want y'all to tell me something unique that no one knows about you or your business.
Kal, you got some unique stuff over there.
Who's gonna go first?
I'm boring. I guess.
I don't even know what this. I'm really sure.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily unique about the business. Well, I don't even know if it's considered unique. I think this one thing about me is that I struggle with trending things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I almost have like a blocker to it. It's like I never know what's going on in the trending world. And I don't know if that hurts me because I'm in the entertainment business. But for me, I'm not trying to fall in the lane. I'm really trying to make the lane. You get what I'm saying? So I tend not to look at trending items because I'm not trying to follow those things.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to follow the template. There is no template. I want to make it. Someone had to start doing color videos. Someone had to start doing sound videos. You know, and if you actually know your film history, a lot of those things were kind of not widely accepted when they first came out. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to push the narrative. So for me, I can't say I've necessarily found that one thing that I'm like, ooh, this is different. But I definitely don't tend to follow what people see to be trending. Like in music videos, anything that I do, I just do whatever's up here. I don't really care what just came out last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes you unique too, because you're doing something that nobody else is doing.
Like I would say, I'm very much into the indie world. I love my indie folks. I love. Like I spend a lot of time, effort, and money supporting the indie world. I love them because I feel like being an indie artist in whatever genre you are, you really have free range, you know. And I guess to sum it up, what you could say the unique thing is for me as a filmmaker, I have zero desire to go to Hollywood. It's never been a dream of mine.
Okay.
It's never been a dream. It's like I'm trying to make my Hollywood. I have no desire to pack up all my stuff and fly to LA and try to make it out there. It's never been a thought. Not at all. Not even close.
Okay.
So I guess that's my unique part.
I don't know if this is unique though, but I guess I feel like my emphasis is fashion, and I feel like no matter what I do, there's always kind of a bit of that in everything that I do. So even when it's not necessarily fashion related, I still think my work has a fashion or beauty perspective to it. Okay. But if I'm being honest, I feel like there's other people like that too. So I don't know if that's like super unique, but that's probably what sticks out to me.
Don't let him be humble, Kelly.
Okay.
Go check out his fashion photography work. Do not let him sit here and be humble.
Okay.
Go check out his fashion photography work. It speaks for itself.
I'm going to have to look at that. And then, we're going to add that in the show notes for everybody who's listening. So
let him know, because he is very humble about his fashion work. And I'm his biggest cheerleader when it comes to it.
Okay.
He's good. He's really good.
Yeah, I got to see this. Okay.
No, I do think it's good, but I guess I was just searching for something, I guess that was like super, super unique, like to put into words. And I don't, that's the only thing I could probably think of. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what advice would you guys tell your younger self?
Start earlier.
Yeah, that I could have started this earlier. That's exactly what I was going to say. You sometimes think that you have to be like an adult or something. I don't know what exactly that even is to people, but I think like I said, I think this goes back to the school systems and how they train your mind, but people should already be practicing whatever trade they're going to be an entrepreneur in high school, if you ask me. So, or even before, but yeah, definitely just to start earlier.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Okay. And I gotta agree with y'all too, because I feel the same way.
Yeah. Well, they say hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah. So how does your business different from others who are doing the same thing in the industry? Because one could say there is a lot of photographers. There's a lot of videographers out there. How are you guys different? No, go ahead.
I was saying, going back to your question about being unique, I'm gonna piggyback off those answers. I feel like I feel like Portia's unwillingness to kind of like submit to what is going on in the mainstream. I feel like, I guess, along with me putting fashion and everything, is probably what would set us apart, because, like I said, her being, I guess, off kilter, or if you even want to call it that, is, a different, it's a unique outlook on things. And then I guess to have that fashion and beauty kind of perspective added to things that are not even fashion and beauty, like, let's say, a beer commercial or something like that, are how we try to set ourselves apart.
Right. Yeah. I agree with Kal. I think that, and then the other part I would add to that I feel like personally makes us different, and this is just my experience of working with other indie photographers, other indie videographers, and no shade towards them, because I work with them for a reason. I think they're good at what they do. But I think something that me and Kal do that separates us apart is that I think that we go the extra mile that typically indie videographers don't do, because you're working on a limited budget, because you're working on limited resources and network and stuff like that. We tend to fall into the run and gun style. You know what I'm saying? And I think it gives people this idea that it's very, very cheap or lesser value. So I think me and Kal really try to go out of our way. When we shoot a music video, we don't just show up and shoot. We done planned the artist's outfit. We done planned their makeup, their hair, everything, every little detail we have planned. We've brought in a production designer. We've went out and did the shopping for the props. We've gone out and done the shopping for the clothes if need be. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think we're hustlers in that sense, in that when I first started off, and some of the videographers and photographers I work with, it's very much so you show up and shoot, because that's the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think we really kind of grind and use our resources to be able to, like he said, a one-stop shop. We're going to make sure your outfit is hot. Even if I'm down here shooting a music video and I need clothes, I'm going to call Kal, hey, let's put together this wardrobe. Mm-hmm. So when an artist come to us, in particular for music videos, guarantee you're going to get everything done. We're going to hire your makeup. We're going to hire your hair. We're going to, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do I just did the logos for the artist. We're going to do your logos. We're going to, whatever you need is going to get done in the course of shooting your music video. Gotcha. And I haven't found that a lot.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if y'all know, but I was in the music industry for a little while when I worked with this artist in New Jersey. And listen, I felt like I was doing all of that. And it was just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, what am I paying you for?
Right.
Yeah, so definitely
I think that's what separates us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, so last couple of questions. If money wasn't an option, right? What would you guys do every day?
Man, we'd be shooting our first feature right now. Okay. If money was not an issue, and Kal does this full time, I still work a 9 to 5 on top of the freelancing, but I'm not to speak for Kal, so maybe he can confirm, but I feel like one of our biggest things is that we've been ready for a feature. We want the budget for a feature. That is where I've been at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think for me, it wouldn't necessarily be a feature or not be a feature. I think that if money weren't an issue, we would just be putting more into the type of projects that we do. Because there are a host of things that we enjoy or want to do better than we like. Even let's say we haven't done a feature.
Oh, we lost you a little bit, Kal.
To do again if they were totally different. So I think just in general, if money was an issue, we would still put that to grow the the level of execution that we deliver, just to make a better product.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that too. I do.
All right. So what's the vision for you guys for the next 5 years?
That's our meeting on Monday.
No, literally. It's funny that you should ask, because we planned 2020 out, and then we had to rewrite it as it came at us. Mm-hmm. And so we're about to have which we do every December since last December, and plan our year out. 5 years from now, I mean, I'll say initially we've always dreamed that, we would be doing large scale productions for, some of your favorite household names, and then some not. I think one part of us definitely wants to be out there regularly working for some of your household names, while the other part of us definitely wants to help other indie artists and people of that nature who need creative directors who don't necessarily have 100,000 budget like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely would like that. Yeah. In the next 5 years, the goal would be to have, expanded the team. Me and Cal don't want to be shooting forever. Even within the last year or two, both of us have kind of started to navigate into more of a director's role. Which has come with the expansion of the business. And so in the next 5 years, I'd like to have dedicated shooters for certain that I know, we don't have to jump on the camera if we don't want to. And people that are just a little bit more in-house. I think we have contractors now. I'd definitely like to create that to be more of an in-house and possibly even have our own studio space to not have that. That eliminates one third party already, That's
I'm going to claim that for y'all.
See, there we go. We're going to shoot you first.
I want to be in nobody's movie, nobody's production, unless y'all going to be shooting a podcast. That's it.
You know what? We're going to get you in there. We're going to get you a part in there.
Okay. All right. So, any questions for me? It's something new that I'm trying. Do y'all have anything to ask me before we?
You know what? I do actually. I think the business shower idea really was such a good idea, and you've seen memes about it and things like this, but I feel like you're actually, bringing it to fruition. So my question is kind of what made you want to do the business shower podcast? Or the business shower company altogether?
Okay. So, for that reason, it was a lot of people. First, I kept seeing the meme. And it was just like, this is a good idea. Somebody needs to bring it to light. And then it was, everybody around me was getting married and having babies and wedding showers and baby showers. And I'm like, what if I never have any children?
Right.
So, but I'm out here starting businesses. So nobody's going to celebrate the fact that, I'm starting a business. Okay. So we got to change that. So that was my whole point of starting the business shower events. And then the podcast came about because of the pandemic. It was just like, how am I going to pivot in this pandemic? The only way I could pivot is to start a podcast. I could have did virtual events, but I like physical events. So I decided to pivot with the podcast, and that's why we're here today.
That's awesome. Well, from one indie entertainer to, or entrepreneur to another, thank you for thinking on that level. I think it's really important. Exposure by any means, and constant exposure. So I appreciate that. I do.
Yes. Do you have any questions for me, Cal?
As do I. Thank you so much for choosing us, number one, for the exposure.
Yes.
No, I think I got. I think I was gonna somehow ask some similar questions to what Porsha asked, because I do always like to understand why people who, I guess, start things that aren't necessarily to help them. You know what I'm saying? Like what their motivation is. So that's always nice to.
Absolutely.
All right. So, guys, tell us where your listeners can connect with you online.
So the best place to connect with me online is Instagram, and it's just my name. It's at KALTREVOR. Yeah, that's probably the best place to connect with me. Not only would you be able to contact me, like I think I have my text number on there, email, as well as, you'll be able to DM me, but it's also a great place to see my latest work and my oldest work, because everything is there.
Right. Yeah, then you also have the business page also on Instagram and Facebook, which is at Red Site Media, SYTE. And then my personal page, which you can also find pretty much all of my work. I post everything to my personal page too. It's at director.pbrown. And if you go on our pages, you'll find links to our YouTube. You'll find links to the website. Not to do the shameless plug, but our documentary just dropped. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, shout that out. Talk about the documentary for a second.
Yeah, so Cultivated, our religious cult documentary. Mm-hmm. We actually shot it in Jersey. The survivors are from Jersey, so it was really personal for me. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet.
No, but
you may recognize a face or two in there.
Okay.
So check it out when you get a chance. But yeah, Cultivated, we're really pushing that. It is a very heartfelt story. It is a true story, mm-hmm. and something that we want to bring light to, especially in the Black community, religious cults, and how to be able to identify them and see the red signs, and just kind of breaking the stigma that people have on survivors of cults. Okay. And then just look out for our sci-fi. We just shot an Afro-futuristic sci-fi in Harlem.
Ooh.
So that'll be coming out soon. It is done. We just haven't released it yet. Okay. So yeah, we got some big stuff in the works. I'm excited.
Okay.
So check out Cultivated. Check out Cultivated.
I am. We're gonna check it out tonight. Me and my husband. We ain't got nothing to do tonight, so
it's about 22. What is it?
22 in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's
okay. It. Yeah, that's not long. So yeah, I mean, I like stuff like that anyway. So we'll definitely be checking it out. All right. Well, that is a wrap for this episode. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.